How y'all doing? This is Wendell's Cooking Chef. Now what I'm making today is called scalded spaghetti. Now this is a very gourmet meal. You know, right now I used about, let me see, how much it is, let's see, just to skip, okay, I'll use a 3.5 pound ground beef chuck. Thanks, Chuck! But anyway, this is a very expensive meal if you were to go to Olive Garden or anywhere where they feel as though you're paying more for the service than the goddamn food. Now, me personally, I don't give a fuck. But your bitch might. Excuse my language. But, you know, I'm a good looking nigga. I feel as though I'm a decent dude, but I've been told different. Better, motherfucker. But, yeah, so basically, let's skip all the bull. What I usually do is I simmer it, let it cook in its all natural juices for about 10-15 minutes on a slow cook. You know, we have a traditional electric stove, so it heats up very quickly, and has a low to a high setting. So in between that, you have your numerous numbers. So I usually put it over 5.5, 6. A little bit horny, I put it 6.5. Let that thing bake at 7. But I just go ahead and let it simmer. While I let it simmer, I used to put my little gourmet burger mix in there, traditional for hamburgers. So you have that. Also, I use my all famous, which is everybody loves, Martin seasoning salt to spice up the meat. But you also gotta have some motherfucking Mrs. Dash. I usually like to have some Mrs. Dash as well. Because Mrs. Dash, let me tell you something about her. She know how to shake that ass. But she a slut, so I can't get too used to it. So anyway, and the good thing about letting it simmer on a slow cook is that, you know, even though it's cooking, it'll take a little while to cook, it's also baking in its natural juices, but you also eliminate the risk of letting the meat burn too fast, because, you know, usually when you get this big pound of beef, you know what I mean, you got meat at the bottom that's cooking and the meat at the top is still pink. So by the time you get the meat at the top that's brown, that was pink, brown, you know, you got the other meat that was already brown that's turning like a dark brown or black, and it starts to get a little stiff, you know, tough. So nobody want no tough meat in their mouth, especially no female like your mother. So, unless it's hard. Cause I ain't going in there soft, I gotta go in there hard, cause I ain't no soft nigga, you feel me? Pa-pow, 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 pow-pow! But anyway, so, you know, you go ahead and let that cook. You know, the noodles, you know, some people particularly like spaghetti because of the noodles. You know, that's if you're into that pasta and different things like that. But me, I just like a good meal, you know, good sides, you know, and something to wash it down with that's pretty decent. You know, no gay stuff. But, so, me right now, I've been using Kroger brand because all they got down here is a goddamn Kroger's and Walmart's. But Kroger down here, I gotta admit, it is pretty cheap. Well, it's pretty similar to the Army base because I usually slop on base, you know, to buy my products because they don't tax and different things like that. But this is thin spaghetti by Kroger brand, and this brand is actually pretty good. You know, with any noodle, you can overcook it or it can be undone. With this one, if you cook it right and drain it correctly, it's very good. So I'll let y'all see that product. Okay, so that's pretty good. So right now, you know, it's still a little pink, you know, but it's still brown, but it's an even cook right now. So right now, it's an even cook. So, you know, I'm just doing that right now, you know, doing my thing. So this is what it's kind of starting to look like. If you can see, you know, it's looking real good. So, plus it's about 7:17 right now. So about 7:38, 9 o'clock, close to when it's dinner time for me. You know, everything will be done. Nigel probably would reward her little appetite because right now her and the dog wrestling on the guy. Get off the floor, Rudy. Stop. Hey, stop. But anyway, you know, and it's good because, you know, if it falls on the kids, it won't burn that bad if you cook it at 6.5. Sign off. So anyway, when this is done, I usually like to take out my condiments. You know what I mean? As in what I'm going to have with it and what I'm going to add with this particular thing. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually show you because your mother's a fag, so I'm just going to show you. called, I usually use these steamed fresh bags because it's fresh broccoli without having to dirty up extra pots and pans. You know, you can put it in there and actually microwave it for a certain amount of time depending on the watts of the microwave, and it'll taste just like stovetop. That's the good thing about it. And it's by Bird's Eye. So this is a pretty good meal. Right now I had this last week. This is one of my favorites already. You know, this is lightly sauced roast red potatoes with oven, garlic, and butter sauce. You know, it's also by Bird's Eye, but it's also in a battery. You put it in the microwave, hit that dial, watch TV for about 5-10 minutes, come back, your meal's complete. Stovetop taste. Actually, this one's almost like a grill, like a shish kebab or something like that, because this is what they usually put a shish kebab. Hey, back up. So, yeah, hold on. But anyway, you want to say hi? Okay, hold on. Say hi, boo boo. Look at that little light. You see that little light? Bah! Bah! Did you boo boo? Oh, God dang! Ah! You boo boo! And the good thing about a slow cook, you know, you can stir it real quick and change your doodle diaper. But you always want to be sanitary and make sure you wash your hands when you're done. And I'm very particular about that. So give me just a second. Let me stir this meat, no homo. And after that, I'm going to change this doodle because it just stinks. You know, I don't like, for one, you don't want your baby sitting around in no bowel movement. And two, you know, I hate to have that smell because I'm cooking a good meal regardless of how good it smells, man. When somebody smells like doodle or stink, you can always smell that over the food. And that's not fair because you spend hard time cooking this meal and, you know, it's smelling good and you got to wait 20-30 minutes for the meat to cook. And then after that, you know what I'm saying, somebody take about 2 seconds, maybe less than a minute to doodle, and it blow the whole joint. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Let's get a diaper change. Lay down. Get out with me. Move with me. Move. Oh, God dang, man. Hold on, y'all. I'm almost done changing this doodle diaper. Oh, what the hell? Gotta have your mama. Have you seen it? Gotta have your mama because I'm doing this. Alright, y'all. Let's finish changing the diaper, washing my hands. Alright, I'm back. What I did is go ahead and turn it off so I will eliminate any excess burning just in case, which is also a good idea. Back up. Well, watch Elmo. Hold on, let me put on Elmo for my child. Come on, Boo. You want to bring it out? So anyway, yeah, this is what I like to do. So now that the meat is cooked, I'm going to go ahead and drain it. You know what I mean? Do its thing, let it drain. After I drain it, I'm gonna go ahead and fill up a nigga. I get all these nigga pots because back in the day these are pots and pans that nigga used. You know, good for electric stove, non-stick, like money. But anyway, so you fill this up. Usually I like to start with cold water so it gets the top, you know, it's not all foggy because the noodles will make the water pretty foggy. So give me a second to pull up my water. Now with the water, with the pot of water, I usually fill that up about, let's see, maybe 3/4, about 3/4. Because with it being at 3/4, hold on, I'm just using my PS3 controller to turn on the movie for Nigel. Alright, so now that the meat's cooking, pretty much all the pinkness is evenly out. See, now it's starting to look nice and brown. But you also have your juices that's in here. So, you know, depending on how thin the strainer is, you know, you can go ahead and use a strainer, or you can use a spatula if you don't have a strainer available, and just kind of ease the water, the juices out. You know what I mean? So that's something you might want to do just in case. Now, when you're cooking this joint, you know what I mean, you don't have to necessarily cook the, you want to get most of the pink out, but if there's like maybe about 5-10% pink left, that's okay, because you want to let it simmer when you put your sauces in, you feel me? So you don't want the meat to be overdone. So right now I'm going to go ahead and drain it, and when I'm done, y'all can just think about how y'all missed this meal and how good it probably would have tasted if you were actually here to receive it, okay? So let me just do this real quick. Man, fucking with y'all, I gotta get a strainer. Hold on, y'all. See, this is a strainer. See, this is a pretty thin strainer. So I can basically just pour it in, and none of the meat will fall out, regardless of how small you chop it. Unless you do like have a micro chopper or something stupid like that. Now that it's drained out, you can go ahead and slowly add that back in there. But now, I usually like to cut it off because now that you don't have any juices, it's almost that it's frying, like it's frying the meat. So what I usually do, I stir it like this a little bit. Usually I have my sauces handy, but due to me making this video, you know, so I just took it off the eye to stop it from frying. Left the eye on, so you want to be careful at that. I'm going to show you my special sauces I like to use, especially the ones I like to use on your mother's asshole. Now, depending on how much meat you use, you know what I mean, you don't necessarily need to, but it's good to have two because regardless of, or if you have a decent sized meat, you know what I'm saying, you want to go ahead and use one full can, and just to stop it from burning, you might want to add a third of another can, you feel me? So, well, this is a new one. I usually use Parmesan and Romeo. It all depends on how you want it to taste when you add this special, because this is what makes spaghetti. Now sometimes you can't get all the spaghetti juices out, so you might want to add maybe a little bit of water, put the top back on, shake it up, and throw it in there. And it's good for lubing and for the whole thing. Not that much water, but just enough so when you shake it, you feel me? You're getting all that. You see how that's looking? You're getting all that. Bam. Put that in there. But what I usually do, I stir it first to see if I need that second can or if I even need the a quarter of the second can that I have.